this is part of this Russian investigation. I'm listening to this Russia investigation. All this news is starting to leak now, which is really interesting. For a while, there wasn't a lot of stuff coming out of the Mueller camp. I'm not sure how much of this is coming out of the Mueller camp. There are these two guys, Roger Stone. You all know Roger Stone. He's kind of the operator, and Jerome Corsi, who's this kind. He's one of these birther crazies. He has all these conspiracy theory stuff. But they're coming out and they're talking about what Mueller is doing to them, how Mueller is getting. I mean, these are older people, and Mueller is treating them like perps he's pulled in off the street. I mean, the fact that Paul Manafort is somewhere in solitary confinement, I'm sure you feel safer in your home knowing that Paul Manafort is not going to come to your house and do whatever. Manafort is not a guy I respect. He's not a guy that has a very good reputation for honesty or integrity. But what is he doing in solitary confinement? Really facing 10 years in prison? And Mueller has this real problem. In fact, Alan Dershowitz, yesterday I want to play this because yesterday I played Alan Dershowitz saying that Mueller's final report is going to be devastating. But here's what he meant. What he meant was, I thought he meant that stuff was going to come out, but apparently he's now clarifying this to say that he thinks Mueller is on the warpath and that Trump is right about him, that he is not being fair.
The president has to be ready and his team has to be ready because Mueller is not going to produce a neutral report. He's not going to be fair. He's going to produce what he believes is going to be a devastating attack. He's going to put together everything. He's going to use information from Manafort and others without necessarily disclosing that they're liars. And so the president's team has to be ready. And that's why I've suggested that the president's team demand that on the day that the Mueller report is released, that their report is released as well, that the public gets a chance to see both reports. In other words, that when the Mueller report is produced to the Justice Department, it has to be turned over to the team.
Well, how can the president's team prepare a statement not knowing what's in the Mueller report?
Here's the way what has to happen. Mueller report gets sent to the Justice Department. The Justice Department doesn't release it. It sends it over to the president's team.
Right.
They then have a week to write a rebuttal looking specifically. Then once their rebuttal is ready, both reports are released at the same time.
And Dershowitz makes the really good point that because Mueller has basically busted most of the people he's busted for lying to him, for lying to the FBI, not for anything having to do with Russian collusion, but he's turned the screw on them, saying, you lied to me and you're going to go to prison if you don't talk to me about Donald Trump, as he tries to work. But the problem he has is once you convict a guy for lying, he's not a good witness anymore. So I think it sounds to me, and I haven't heard anybody else say this, so this is my conjecture. It sounds to me like Mueller is getting a little bit desperate. Most of the prosecutors I've ever met, and I've met a lot of prosecutors, most of them are honest people who want to get to the truth. But special counsels and special prosecutors, I've never seen it not happen. They find themselves in this position where after spending $35 million, if they come up empty-handed, they look pretty stupid. You should say, the right thing to say was, yeah, we spent $35 million, and now we know that nothing happened. But they don't. The indictment of Scooter Lippy, classic example. They got nothing. That was the stupidest case ever. It was another one of these political cases that the media got everybody excited about, just like this Russian collusion case. I think Trump has a really good point here that there should be an investigation into how Hillary Clinton got Russian intelligence to as dirt on Trump, and then use that dirt with John Brennan to start a wildfire in the media, and then use that to get the FBI to investigate Trump's campaign. I think that to me is a lot more Russian collusion than any kind of meeting in Trump Tower, or certainly what they're saying now. Well, they knew about WikiLeaks, and WikiLeaks letters came from the Russians, and therefore that's somehow collusion with the Russians, which just seems crazy to me. I want to get to the mailbag, but I do want to play one more cut of this Jerome Corsi talking to Tucker Carlson and telling Tucker about what it's like. And again, this is not a guy I have high respect for, but here he is talking about what it's like to be under the heel of this investigation.
The special prosecutors blow you up. They do this, what I call perjury trap. It's really, they ask you a question. They have material they won't show you. You've forgotten about it. They say, you just lied because this email you forgot about in 2016 proves your current memory is wrong. It's a memory test. And then they accuse you of lying. It's completely rigged, and it's politically driven by Clinton operatives who have an agenda. And if you can't give them, Roger's right, if you can't give them what they're looking for to fill their narrative, they blow you up and charge you with a crime.
And he talks about the fact that this has cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend, which of course is they also use to make you come clean. If it's going to ruin you and your family, and you have nothing to leave your kids. He's an older guy. That's a good incentive to start talking and even to start making things up. And it sounds like Mueller is trying to get him to do that, and he can't quite do it. I could be wrong. It's just a guess. I'm beginning to whiff desperation coming out of this investigation, but we'll see, and we'll probably see pretty soon.